So, gosh, it's good to be back. I was gone last week and taking care of some family business and a little fun thrown in there too. And so, very happy to be here. So your mind is a vessel. That's what I'm talking about today. Got that up there. Your mind is a vessel. And I'm going to start with a little story. And this is once a long time ago, there was a wise Zen master, and people from far and near would seek his counsel and ask for his wisdom. Many would come and ask him to teach them, enlighten them in the way of Zen. He seldom turned any away. And one day, an important man, a man used to command and obedience, came to visit the master. I have come today to ask you to teach me about Zen. Open my mind to enlightenment. The tone of the important man's voice was one that he was used to getting his way. The Zen master smiled and said that they should discuss this over a cup of tea. And when the tea was served, the master poured his visitor a cup, and he poured, and he poured, and he poured, and the tea rose to the rim and began to spill over on the table, and finally onto the robes of the wealthy man. Finally, the visitor shouted, "Enough! You are spilling the tea all over me. Can't you see that the cup is full?" The master stopped pouring and smiled at his guest. "You are like this teacup, so full that nothing more can be added. Come back to me when the cup is empty. Come back to me with an empty mind." So today, as we continue our monthly theme of minding the mind, we will look at our minds as vessels and ask ourselves, what are they filled with? With what have we filled our minds? Are they so filled with untruths that there's no room to hold the truth when we hear it? That's really a big question, isn't it? Are our minds so filled with the untruths that there's no room to hold the truth when we hear it? What do we mean by untruths with which our minds might be filled? I want you to help me with this. Talk to me. What would be an untruth that might be in your mind right now?
I am not a spirit.
Okay, there's an untruth.
Most of the things that we worry about,
Okay. How about...
because they're in the future, they're not even happen.
Right.
It's not even there.
Right. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough. What else?
I am not enough.
I am not enough. I don't deserve this. What else? What's another untruth that we tell ourselves?
I'm unlovable.
I'm unlovable.
I'm bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of... Yeah, well, that could be...
Except
Okay, so as we've heard this laundry list, is there something today, this morning, that you might choose to empty out of your own mind? To empty out of your mind. Ernest Holmes tells us the mind is a magnet and we attract that which we identify the self. In order to get the most out of life, we must learn consciously to change many of our habitual thought patterns, in other words, empty the vessel. And this is not easy. Well, it may not be easy. For our old thought patterns, they cling to us with great tenacity, but being thought patterns, they can be reversed. They can be reversed. And they are reversed by filling our minds with truth. Because as anything, when you empty something out, it creates a vacuum. You want to be very clear what you are putting back in. You don't want to leave it empty because anything else will come back in. You want to replace it with the truth. So, help me with this too, please. What are some statements of truth? Give them to me. Come on.
I am an infinite being.
I am an infinite being.
I'm powerful.
I am powerful.
Perfect.
I am perfect.
I'm amazing.
I am amazing. I am loving. I am lovable.
Yes.
I am enough.
I'm creative.
I have all that I need to live a life I want to live. Right? All right. Our new thought teachings will brainwash us if we let them. Now, brainwashing sounds like something that's associated with cults or something out of a movie, right? My cousin once inferred that our teaching was something of the sort. But of course, we know that we are not. Here's what I mean by the word. I'm redefining the word brainwash because, wash is a good thing. If we let them, our new thought teachings will wash out of our minds false beliefs, fear, and negativity, and teach us that God is in, as, and through all things. If we let them, they will teach us to see and to feel and to know and to live from the idea that we are each one of us of God. We are of God. We are the divine expression of God. We are individualized, unique, and in fact, we are perfect expressions of God. They will show us, if we would but open our eyes, that God's good is right at hand and it is here, right here and now. And that we are always and in all ways provided for. Always and in all ways provided for. They help us, if we have our minds available to it, to see the value of standing in gratitude, deep and abiding gratitude for the good, the all good that is already around us. And finally, they teach us, if we are willing, to live in a place of surrender and acceptance that is all true. So does anyone know what I was just talking about beyond the words that I said? What I was actually telling you right now, or expressing to you, are the 5 steps of the affirmative prayer that we teach here in the Science of Mind. It's a spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, what I do in the morning, and what we teach in our classes, that God is all there is. That's the first step, recognizing there's nothing that is not God. The second step is God and I are one. I am a divine expression of that one. The third step is an affirmation of the truth. I know that I am a divine expression, and I know that all of the good has already been given, and I gratefully accept it. And so the fourth is that gratitude. I give thanks for the good that is mine right now. And it's all done in the present tense. And finally, release. We let it go, and we let it be, because that's all we need to do. That's how easy it is. And it's powerful. It is so powerful. It's such a great tool to use when clearing out the old in our minds and filling it with the truth. So we are told in the scripture at Romans 12:2, and this is, I will tell you, one of my absolute all-time favorite Bible verses, do not conform to the pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And when do we renew it? Every moment we need to. Not just on Sundays, not just when we remember, but we need to do it all of the time. Renew our minds continually. Spiritual mind treatment renews our mind, and we are transformed. Ernest Holmes once said, we are all immersed in the atmosphere of our own thinking. This decides what shall take place in our lives. So true. We live in here, don't we? What we are thinking is what we experience. And I'm sure you've heard this from Henry Ford. If you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Or from the Dhammapada, one of the primary collections of the teachings attributed to Buddha, all we are is a result of what we have thought. Wow, what a common theme in there, isn't it? And of course from the master teacher Jesus, it is done unto you as you believe, as you believe. These are very powerful statements, but what's really powerful is when we practice remembering their power. Again, we get back to Neville Goddard's teaching of, we can say the words, but when we feel it,
Yeah.
that gives it the power.
And impresses it.
And impresses
on
it.
the subconscious, where everything's created out of the subconscious.
And we'll get into that. When we find ourselves thinking, this will never work for me, I can't do, or be, or have, the vessel of our mind is full of limitation. As Richard Bach wrote in one of his great books, another favorite of mine, Illusions, argue for your limitations and they are yours. How many people will tell you, you'll give them advice and they'll say, oh, but I can't. But here's this great, oh, but I couldn't possibly. They just actually talk themselves out of their good. Argue for your limitations and they are yours. Our minds are a gift from God, and when we think in constriction, we cut ourselves off from God's power to give us ideas where the solutions can be found. In fact, the I can't syndrome is a very powerful one for keeping us feeling separate from God and for holding us back from all sorts of good in our lives. If you find yourself with the I can't syndrome, I want to suggest to you that you do for yourself what a 4th grade teacher in a small town in Michigan did with her students one day several years ago. Have you heard this story? Mm-hmm. This is actually a pretty fun story. She asked every student to get out a piece of paper and write at the top, I can't. And then she had them write as many I can't statements that they could think of. Statements like these appeared. I can't kick the soccer ball to second base. I can't do long division with more than 3 numbers. I can't eat only one cookie. Well, who can? Come on. I can't stand my sister. Okay, even the teacher wrote her list of I can'ts. When the time to write was up, everyone came to the front of the class with their I can't list. They folded it up and they placed it in a shoebox on her desk. Then the entire class marched out to the yard, and after a brief stop at the janitor's closet to get a shovel, the teacher dug a 3-foot hole in the ground. Once the hole was dug, the teacher placed the shoebox in it and covered it with dirt. At this point, the teacher announced, "Boys and girls, please join hands and bow your heads." And she said, "Friends, we gather here today to honor the memory of I Can't. While he was with us on this earth, he touched the lives of everyone, some more than others. His name, unfortunately, has been spoken in every public building, schools, city hall, state capitals, and yes, even the White House. I Can't is survived by his brothers and sister, I Can, I Will, and I am going to right away. They are not as well known as their famous relative, but perhaps someday, with your help, they will make an even bigger mark on the world. May I Can't rest in peace, and may everyone present pick up their lives and move forward in his absence." How about having an I Can't funeral like that? Why don't we do something like that? An innovative teacher did for those 4th grade students.
Great idea.
Yeah, I wonder what an impact it had on those kids. Put that phrase in its final resting place and make friends with its brothers and sisters. I can, I will, and I'm going to right away. To tap into universal power, we need to think into the solution. Think into the solution instead of having our minds, our vessels, already filled with why it, whatever it is, in any given instance, won't work. Start by saying to yourself, if I could do this, how might it work? What ideas are there for how it could happen? Let's remember what Henry Ford said and practice it today. If you think you can or you think you can't, you get to be right. So let's start right. Let's be right in thinking that it can be done. There's a solution and we can access it. Here's a story that was shared by one of my classmates. This was back when I was in practitioner training. And we weren't practitioners quite yet. But one of the things that we did is we all had practitioner partners, prayer partners, and people that we went to for treatment. And she shared it in a Sunday service talk, and she gave me permission to share it as well. So this is what she said. She said, "I had the most profound aha this week." This was several years ago. She says, "I met with my practitioner Sunday after service, and as I was telling her about my sleeping issue," here's sleeping again, "Saturday night, Sunday morning, yes, through tears of frustration and discouragement, she said to me, 'Why didn't you call me?' I said to her, 'I'm not going to call you at 2:30 in the morning because I can't sleep for whatever reason. No sense in both of us being up.' To which she responded, she was up anyway. Honestly, it never occurred to me to call anyone about it. So here's the aha. Not only did it not occur to me to call her, I had just spent 2 services singing our congregational song, 'When I am talking with you, I am talking with God.' Oh geez, it never occurred to me to take this to God, to take this to Spirit at 2:30 in the morning. Her 'why didn't you call me' was the express message from Spirit. Why didn't you call me? With a capital M. Why didn't you call me? I sat in bed last night writing a prayer, and it occurred to me that I had never prayed for this long-standing physical challenge before. I spent the better part of Saturday studying for my practitioner class exam on this very principle, and it never occurred to me to use it at 2:30 in the morning. Seriously, what was I thinking? Or should I say, what was I not thinking? Oh, I tried to meditate through it, but not for what we know. Is the real purpose of meditation, to align ourselves with the consciousness of Spirit. And I was trying to visualize my way through it, but in the end, I was trying to do this myself, not taking this to God. And by the way, doing an awfulizing job of it. Why is this happening? I know the biology and physiology, but why can't I heal this, etc., etc., trying to do the job herself. I then happened into the section toward the end of how to use the science of mind yesterday that took me from the consciousness of being someone else's practitioner to being my own. Oh, isn't it so easy to see how to fix somebody else or know the truth for someone else? But when it's our own, oh my, realizing a shift in my own consciousness as I was embracing that concept. In essence, if I couldn't get my own consciousness wrapped around this condition, how was I ever going to see the truth for anyone else? And I couldn't expect anyone else to always know this for me. My consciousness was going to have to shift on this, or I wasn't going to be any good to anybody. As I wrote the prayer for myself and then read it back, I was working to put emotion, feeling, and belief into it, and I started to have one of those still small voice conversations, almost like God saying to me, convince me that you really believe that all of the power of perfection and wholeness of spirit flows and courses through you and expresses as you. Do you really believe that? To which I snapped right back, yes. Then that is either the truth or it is not. It is either the truth all of the time or it isn't. If you believe this, that it is the truth, then use it. In other words, then act like it. In addition to the prayer, I found an old meditation tape yesterday that I hadn't listened to in probably 10 years that had one of the most amazing guided meditations for both healing and sleep. I had totally forgotten about it. Long story short, I prayed, I really prayed and meditated and visualized, and I slept better last night than I have in a very long time. No foot cramps. I don't think I even woke until morning. I don't remember checking my clock anyway. My lesson this week is this. Mind always works, and it works best when we actually work it. When we consciously and consistently use these tools and principles and not just pay lip service to them. She was explaining, like, just pass the exam. Gee, I know it up here, but I'm not knowing it here. You would think that I would know this by now. Sigh. I can tell you from personal experience, I have said that. You would think I would know this by now. It's all a practice. We keep practicing. So, what could you empty out of your mind this morning? What could you empty out of your mind this morning? What is one idea that no longer serves you? And what will you replace it with through prayer and other powerful spiritual tools that we offer here? What will you replace it with, including if you need a treatment, because that's what I do. It's your choice. It's your life. This is your adventure. Make it one of peace. Make it one of love. And make it one of joy, because you deserve it. You deserve a life of love, joy, and peace. And so it is.